Based on your submissions, our parent company Nexstar has chosen its top 4 choices of remarkable women of Nevada. And today we introduce you to Maggie Carlton, who's the longest serving female legislator in our state.
I grew up in the Show Me state, but I'm a Nevadan by choice, and that's where my heart lies.
Maggie Carlton moved to the east part of Las Vegas in 1990, securing a job as a coffee waitress in Treasure Island, where she took a big interest in the culinary union and politics.
A lot of it had to do with being a working mom who wanted to represent folks from the perspective of a working mom. We walked the Frontier picket line on Fridays, and I took my daughters down there to walk the picket line.
Maggie was chosen as an active member of the culinary union to introduce then-President Bill Clinton.
The President of the United States.
And it wasn't long before this waitress with a high school diploma became the first labor activist to be elected to the Nevada State Senate.
A couple of the more seasoned legislators back then tell the story that they had no idea where this young waitress came from, and they thought I was going to show up in a motorcycle jacket and stiletto heels or something. I mean, they were just joking, but I was an unknown. I came out of nowhere.
This unknown at the time would later become the ultimate stereotype buster, representing the little guy across our state on very important matters.
It was very nerve-wracking because I had never done anything like that before.
The major challenges for her came with balancing family life.
If you stop and think about it, I've done this for 22 years and they're 34 and 35 years old. So it's been most of their lives they've had a mom that's in the legislature. So that's been one of the biggest challenges is balancing that and always making sure that I was there for them, as much as I could be.
Here's a snippet from Inside Edition when Maggie, a senator at the time and still a cafe waitress, was profiled on her political career.
Do you think you'd vote for her? Yes, definitely.
In 2011, Maggie was elected to the Nevada Assembly and became the longest serving woman legislator in Nevada's history.
Now being able to help the next generation that's coming up.
She has been chair of the Ways and Means Committee since 2013. One of her biggest accomplishments took 10 years of her life to complete, tackling surprise hospital billing.
If you're out on the soccer field and your daughter falls and breaks the elbow or whatever, you don't think about what hospital's in network. You just you take them to the closest hospital, you walk in the emergency room door, and you get them treatment. Well, a lot of times what would happen after that is the surprise bill would come later.
And now hospitals and insurance companies negotiate on your behalf. While these big issues are certainly important, Maggie finds the littler ones most satisfying.
When somebody calls you and there's a street light out on their street, or they're having problems with the sidewalk, or their child needed a zone variance, or there was an issue with the neighbor, the fact that you could reach out and help people do things for their everyday life, it's very, very gratifying.
As for being nominated as a remarkable woman of Nevada,
I was just so surprised.
And emotional about the letter submitted on her behalf, written by her husband.
It was very important. Because, sometimes after 40 years of marriage, you don't appreciate each other as much or share as much. You just kind of, we're there for each other. But the fact that he took the time to do that means a lot.
Maggie will continue her work as executive director with nonprofit ULAN, the United Labor Agency of Nevada. In 2022, after 24 years of public service, she says she'll be termed out, and she says it'll be tough to get politics out of her blood. But she adds one good thing about term limits is that you're always getting new people, and she believes that's a good thing for the state of Nevada as it's constantly changing.